Hello my fellow hunters and welcome to my new KO SwitchX morph build video. In this video we talk a little bit about the morph because the reason is I didn't like when other YouTubers or so just slapping some random stuff on a build and then saying okay, here's the best build. So I'm not that kind of person and I prefer still to first morph out all the stuff and then showing you the best possible skills and best possible build for this constellation with no Querio weapon augments. Okay, so this build was made if you didn't have any Querio or sized armor parts and only augmented the weapon. Okay, and I talk a little bit about that later. First of all, I show you all the switch axes we have for the exhaust files, and in this video, on every build, we're using Buildup Boost 3, and I didn't want to show it to you in the training room. I didn't want to make a 30-minute video again, because I think some players maybe didn't want to hear out all the explanations and just want to see the build. And I just want to mention here at this point that the weapon that benefit most of build-up boost in general is the switch axe, and maybe about bowguns I didn't know. I think switch axe is the weapon that benefits most of it, and especially the exhaust file, because exhaust files apply on every single hit exhaust damage. And I didn't remember there's any other weapon like longsword, also no other weapons of the other has exhaust as element or exhaust as status, so that makes the skill for switch axe absolutely insane. And yes, also now it closes the gap to the power files, because previously always power files was about 15% stronger because they have benefit of the power file, and elemental files was 45% stronger in terms of element. And now we can catch up with that skill called Buildup Boost, makes our switch axe about 15% stronger, not 20%. The reason is we have a handicap, and the handicap is we have to use the Ryzen armor parts, 3 pieces of them, which is a lot, and that's the reason why maybe the power files currently are slightly better. I did the morph because on power files you didn't have the Ryzen Chemi armor parts handicap, and you can instead use crit boost, which we can't squeeze in this build. And that's not a problem because we are going for aerial playstyle. We play KO switch axe because we only apply KO to the head. First of all, we have a short look at the weapons, and after I show the weapons, I show you the morph. Okay. Like I explained, this video is only for the Nintendo Switch players. If you are PC players or are already on the Nintendo Switch, got some codes augmentation, things will maybe change. So we go for Forge Upgrade Weapon. And then just search via file type and go for exhaust file. I think there are just 4 exhaust files in this game. The first one is the Ortry Reconquerors. I saw that by a few speedrunners using, so you should only craft or use the switch axe when you want to go for PSP deco. Okay, if you're gonna go for PSP, I highly recommend using the Reconquerors. But mathematically, it is better to use an anti-skill than a PSP deco. Okay? So you can use whatever you want. If you want to go for PSP, you should definitely choose the Reconquerors. Then tigrex. So this is the best switch axe if you go for an anti-skill. Okay? Because yes, it scales better. The anti-skill scales better with higher raw, and tigrex has better or raw than the other axes. The next thing is Axe of Gaia. So the only bad thing on Axe of Gaia is you need 4 levels of handicraft to reach purple. And yes, so you can augment 2 times for sharpness, but you lose instead 15 raw. So that's imagine you have on these weapons 2 times augments for sharpness. That means 15 less raw. So you got on the tigrex with 3 times attack augment, you got 365 with minus 20%. And inside the Axe of Gaia you have 5 less raw and 5 more crit. And raw scales better than crit on the switch axe, and that's the reason why Rex Thrasher is better than the Diablo switch axe. Okay? Yes, and that one slot doesn't care because we didn't have any text level 1 skills. We also have the Great Gorgon Battle Axe. This switch axe is a lot better than expected because it has, you can use PSP decos, The only bad thing is you have to use 4 levels of handicraft to reach white, and I still have to say this switch X can't reach purple, but it still is extremely competitive and it's still one of the best KO switch X's in the game. Okay, that's about the KO switch X's. Now we go to the morph part. So to the morph, I prepared some builds which are possible in the game. You can see here it is Great Gorgon Battle Axe, Axe of Gaia, Rex Thrasher and Reconqueress. I already did the calculations with the best possible skills. You can see here, if you click on the spec sheet on the weapon, you can see the skills I've used. In every build I've used, like I explained, Defiance 3, Weakness Exploit, Attack Boost 4, Burst level 1, Tiny Purple or Tiny White Sharpness Management, Buildup Boost level 3, Weight Extender with Wild Rock Whisperer, Protective Polish, yes, all the necessary stuff. And here you can also see the augmentations. On the Great Gorgon Battle Axe I did 6 times attack, on the Axe of Gaia, 3 times attack, on the Axe of Gaia, which is from Diablos, 2 times sharpness, Rex Thrasher full attack, and for the Reconqueress 1 time sharpness and 1 time attack, because it's very tricky to squeeze in that additional handicraft. Here you can see the skills I've used on these 4 axes. On all axes, Protective Polish with Power Prolonger level 2, Attack Boost 4 and Wax 3. On the Reconqueress we had additional 1 level of crit boost, and on the Rex Thrasher we have 3 levels of Agitator to compensate the negative affinity. Yes, only 2 levels of Stamina Thief on the Rex Thrasher. Yes, on all axes burst 1, that is the skill overview. Now you can see here recommended levels to get handicraft next level. Yes, 360 through raw Gorgon Battle Axe, Axe of Gaia, 350 on Rex Thrasher and 340 only on Reconqueress. So you can see here 340 is very low in comparison to the other weapons we had, considering Rex Thrasher's natural purple sharpness. You can also use Rex Thrasher with Grinder S, but I only recommend it for the PC players, because already on the Rex Thrasher we are already using Buildup boost, so it doesn't really make sense just to squeeze in we can't really squeeze on all the other skiff. Now you can see here the morph. I already morphed out all the stuff. The best KO X you can use is Rex Thrasher with 1753. This is about 10% less than the Chemi build and 15% less than elemental builds. You can see here both. Okay, so the second best switch X is the Great Gorgon Battle Axe with Tiny White Sharpness Management, which already is really great because it has level 4 slot and you can easily squeeze in a big ass handicraft jewel, so that switch X is now very competitive, scaling with the high raw. The third best is Reconqueress, and yes, the worst is the Diablos. All switch X's are still pretty good, but yes, in my calculations Rex Thrasher is the best one. I always show you the skills I've used on the set, okay? Is there anything I forgot to show you? I'm gonna show you the armor skills. So first of all we talk about the charm. We are using Rapid Move 1 charm with a Weight Extender 1, and the slots are 2 level 2 slots with a level 1 slot. But you can also use a Rapid Move 1 Weight Extender 1 charm with 2 level 2 slots. So you doesn't have to max out Stamina Thief, it is just cherry on top. So we have to recheck the skills first of all. Attack Boost 4, Chemi Blessing 4, that skill is just cherry on top because we didn't snipe for this, but we got it from the Buildup boost parts. Agitator level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Proactive Polish level 3, Rapid Move level 3, Defiance level 3, Buildup Boost level 3, Operanger level 2, Stamina Thief level 2. If you got some extra level 1 rolls on the armor pots you can max out that skill, but 30% is already very good. Weight Window level 2, which stacks very good with our Embolden skill, Razor Sharp level 1, which is kinda useless. Weight Extender level 1, Wild Rock Whisperer level 1, Adrenaline Rush level 1. I didn't calculate this into the calculation, but yes, you gain 10%, 10 more raw. Also Embolden to easier trigger the Agitator, and also Fury. I didn't also calculate this into Fury, so it's a lot better than I showed you in the spreadsheet. Also Burst level 1. Level 2 isn't really worth it, level 3 is worth it, but level 1 should be attack skill for switch X. Okay, that about the skills. We now have an attack of 389, which is really great, so nearly about 400 raw, and I now show you the armor parts you need.
Hey, good to see ya! Ooh, I'm itching to get started.
For the armor parts we are using the Flaming Aspina's head, which gives us some decent attack boost. Then for the chest, gloves and legs, I personally prefer to use the Flaming Aspina's legs, so you can also use Buildup boost level 2 instead of 3 and got that interpreted hurt. But yes, this is a Buildup boost, so we are using the chest, the gloves and the legs of the Ryzen Kemi, and we use on your belt from Violet Mitsutsume, which is absolutely insane. With Adrenaline Rush for Switch X, this is an absolutely great build. Before I'm showing you the build, I'm gonna refer to my Google document, which I already added and which is now, yes, you have access to. I just read out which I have written here. If you're very good with curious augment worlds, Reconquerors may be better, but not for courier crafting. Tigrex is a lot easier to build around with. The 3 times level 1 slots aren't really a benefit of Reconquerors. Since besides Defiance and Stamina Thief, there aren't really level 1 tax skills. Like you remember, for Elemental Switch X we have to use Elemental Exploit and a ton of tax skills, but we get rid of the tax skills with the KO build. Never use KO decos, they are ineffective considering you apply 5 KO damage per damage tick. Yes, but you can eat on the canteen to get 3 additional exhaust damage. There is a meal for that. Buildup boost 3 is trigger rate on every single hit, including the fire bursts. So this is like a power fire, you got 20% damage boost, and you have the Ryzen Kemi handicap, which I already mentioned. As long as there are no built up boost decos, power fires still stray a tiny bit longer because you have the handicap. If you want to get good KOs, you should definitely aim for the head or for the head fin. For some monsters like Somnarkant, there are a second monster pod where you can, yes, apply stun damage. For Somnarkant, it's the head fin. Aerial SA is very effective here, and since it almost ignores the critical hits and scales best with high raw, and generally for KO playstyle I recommend to do aerial switch X and aim for the head so you get the consistent best KOs. For a detailed morph comparison, check this hyperlink I've linked here. Here you can see all the build, augments, and you can read here 6% weaker than a power status switch X and 15% weaker than an elemental switch X. Please also keep in mind that is considering on the elemental hit zones, so if the elemental hit zones are very shitty like for Garangolm, this switch X can maybe out-damage an elemental switch X. For example, for Garangolm, I recommend using this switch X over an elemental switch X, okay? Now I'm gonna show you the build. First of all, we're gonna augment our weapon.
How are things?
Then unlock the augmentation. And yes, we didn't have a handicap of handicraft, so that's very great on the switch X. And just affinity is pretty useless here. We just should go for best attack. I already typed that in into the calculator because we didn't use crit boost on the set, so affinity is very useless. Just go for maxed out attack because we go for aerial playstyle. Yes, for the decos. Anti-deco on the weapon, except you're using Garangolm or Reconquerors, then you can use Fire Switch Boost. Flaming Aspina's Brain, Tenderizer and Chain Jewel 2, on the Ryzen Mitsuha Rope or Ryzen Kemi Rope, a big ass Enhancer Jewel, on the Ryzen Kemi Gloves to a big ass Shop Jewel, a regular Shop Jewel and the Drain Jewel 1, on our belt from Violet Mitsutsume to Tenderizer Jewels and the Drain Jewel 1, on our Ryzen Kemi Legs, big ass Quick Switch Jewel with 2 Cornerstone Jewels. And on our regular talisman, Rapid Morph 1 Await Extender 1 talisman with 2 level 2 slots, we have 2 attack jewels 2 and 1 cornerstone jewel. You can also instead use a Rapid Morph 1 Wirebug Worm Charm or Wirebug 1 Await Extender 1 Charm or some other stuff, okay? Or already a charm with chain crit or some similar stuff. Okay, that's it with the build. Maybe today I can also do the new event quest with Run Golem speedrun, and yes, we're gonna see what's best. Having fun with the build. See you next time. Thanks for watching.